Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Kitisah. This week's Torah portion picks up from 3 weeks ago when the Jewish people arrived at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah from God. In the interim, we studied the laws of the building of the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and some of the laws of the korbanot, the offerings. In this week's Torah portion, we review the episode of the golden calf and the Jewish people rebelling against God. A frequent question asked about the episode of the golden calf is how the Jewish people could have fallen so far just a short 40 days after receiving the Torah. In this Torah, I'll attempt to offer a novel answer to that question. Before studying Torah each morning, the blessing on the Torah is recited, and part of it reads, "Our God, please make the words of your Torah pleasant in our mouths. God, you are the source of all blessing, who teaches Torah to his people, Yisrael. Amlamei Torah le'amo Yisrael." This blessing is a source of debate between early scholars. The Rambam changed the last words from Hamalamed, who teaches Torah to his people, to the Nosin Torah, who gave the Torah. Rambam was emphatic that God gave the Torah to the Jewish people, and it was their choice whether or not to study the Torah. Had God actually taught the Torah to the Jewish people, the people wouldn't have had choice, and that goes against an obvious principle of the Torah of free choice. Along the lines of effort needed to study Torah, the Talmud quoted a teaching of Rav Yitzchak. It said, if a person says to you, I've studied and not found success in Torah study, don't believe him. Similarly, if a person says to you, I have not studied, but nevertheless I found success in Torah study, don't believe him either. If, however, the person says to you, I have studied and I have found success in Torah study, then believe him. The above lesson teaches that successfully understanding the Torah requires effort. The Talmud comments on Rav Yitzchak's teaching, and it says that guaranteed success in Torah study applies only to matters of Torah study, but success with respect to Torah study is in accordance with the effort invested. But when it comes to business success, it depends on the assistance from God. Even though with regard to Torah, we said that success is commensurate with effort only in regards to understanding the Torah you study. The Gemara goes on and says that the more one studies, the deeper the understanding of the material the student understands. However, remembering what one has studied is dependent on assistance from God. Begs the question, what's the difference between the amount of understanding of the Torah, which is dependent on effort, and remembering the Torah that one studies, which is dependent on assistance from God? To understand the difference between the two of understanding and remembering Torah, we need to return to the words of the Rambam about God being a giver of the Torah, but not a teacher of the Torah. Rambam's point was that God gave us the Torah, and it's up to us whether to study it or not. Success isn't up to God, it's up to how much a person takes advantage of the gift of the Torah that the God gave us. Remembering the Torah isn't just about effort, it is greatly dependent on many factors outside a person's control. Memory strength is a quality a person is either born with or without. Effort in reviewing and memorizing doesn't make that much of a difference in how much a person ends up remembering. To remember what a person has studied, they need to pray to God for success in their studies. The Jewish people were given the Torah as a gift on Mount Sinai. To understand what they received was dependent on their effort. To remember the lessons and internalize them, so they created the positive change that Torah is designed to bring in one's life, required God's help. One isn't entitled to God's help, it has to be earned. The Jewish people at Har Sinai hadn't earned God's help yet. They needed to observe the mitzvos and put in great effort in their Torah study to earn God's help. The Torah's lessons that they had just received on Har Sinai went in one ear and out the other, and ended up with them, unfortunately, worshiping idolatry, golden calf. Shabbat Shalom.